Hello, welcome to this little mini retreat for yourself. So this class will be perfect if you're pretty much exhausted or you're feeling really tired, you've got no energy to do a more active practice, you just feel like really having a nap. So this is going to be even better than having a nap. You're going to feel more restored, more rejuvenated. And yeah, it'll just be an opportunity just to be quiet and just be with yourself. So you just need as many cushions as you can get. I've just got 3 off my sofa. If you don't have a bolster, just get 2 or 3 of the firmest pillows from your bed that you can stack on top of each other to be a bolster. Get a blanket, a folded blanket, especially if you're practicing somewhere where it's cold. You definitely want to be warm. You might need a couple of blocks. I like to do this practice with an eye pillow or something that I can just have over my eyes in some of the poses. So feel free to get that as well. So feel free to just press pause on the video so that you can just get everything together. So once you've got everything sorted, you might just pay attention to the little details, like are you warm enough? Do you need to open a window? You might light a candle for yourself. Anything that will just make you feel a little bit cozier, whether it's putting on your favourite jumper or putting on some cozy socks. Now I'm going to have my phone just here because it's got the sequence that we're doing on it and a little timer. So if I keep checking my phone, excuse me, I'm not checking my phone, I'm just looking at the sequence. So we're going to start in a supported child's pose. So to start with, if just being in child's pose feels a bit bony on your knees or your ankles, then put a blanket, or it can also be a towel if you don't have a blanket, just underneath your legs, just to give them a little bit of extra support. And then I like to put a block just at the far end of the bolster, just to make that far end a little bit higher up. Okay, and we're going to stay in this first pose for 3 minutes. So you're literally just going to lay over the bolster. And you can have your head going the same way, or the kind of just whatever way feels most comfortable. Usually it's not in the middle, it will just be off to one side. You might switch that halfway through. So just allowing yourself to start to slow down. You can take a few poses to really start slowing down. And you might feel your belly rising and falling against the bolster. You might feel your heartbeat even.
Just let yourself rest. Nothing to do once you're in the pose. You just be. Welcome everything that is here. Welcome yourself. You might feel anywhere between elated and exhausted, and all is welcome. Okay, we're going to really slowly just start to lift back up to a seated position. You're not changing the pose very much. You're just going to turn so your right hip is kind of up against the end of the bolster. So you're turning kind of side on to the bolster. You might grab one of your pillows and just put it between your knees, and your knees are kind of just loosely have one on top of the other. Okay, and then you can put the pillow in between the legs. I'm going to turn to face the bolster again. It's a little bit of a twist. And then you're lying, you're draping your torso over the bolster, and you can have the head facing the same way as the knees, or you can turn the head the opposite way to the knees. I'll just give you a little bit more of a twist, and obviously it'll give you a little bit of a twist in the neck too, so you can just see what feels good. You don't have to. I prefer just to keep my head the same way as the knees. And it's really soothing for the nervous system to be belly down. It's actually much more soothing to be belly down than it is to be back down and belly up. And so in this practice, we're going to do quite a lot of belly down. For that calming, that rejuvenating effect. Just allow the silence, the pauses. Sometimes I even slightly fall asleep if I'm really tired, practicing restorative. you can allow that to happen. The idea with the props is that you feel really supported. You almost feel like the props are rising up to support you to meet the body, rather than the body having to kind of stretch or reach down into the props at all. It feels like you're been held up maybe a little bit higher than you need to be, so that there's no kind of strain or no feeling that you have to kind of fall into the props. They're there supporting you. Okay, we're going to slowly come back up. And we're just transitioning over to the other side. So all you have to do is turn yourself away from the bolster, so back to bolster, and then turn so your left hip is just at the base of the bolster, and turn to, so you're in a little bit more of a twist so that you can drape your body over, and you can turn your head to the left if you like to, or you can have your head facing the same way as the knees, so to the right. We're staying for 5 minutes again. So just become still again once you're comfortable. If you're feeling cold, you might even pull the blanket over you. Get really cozy. And sometimes we can struggle with feeling tired. I speak for myself in that it's almost like I expect to always have lots of energy to do things, to enjoy life, and then when I don't, I can feel a bit annoyed with myself. I think I'm not alone in that. But practicing restorative yoga has really helped me to just slow down. It's given me a tool to restore and rejuvenate myself. Before it's kind of gone too far. And something I've realised recently as well is if we don't make time for rest, then it doesn't happen. No one's going to make it for us, no one's going to force us to rest. We really have to just schedule that time for ourselves. Okay, we're going to start to slowly lift back up. We want to come in and out of poses really slowly. And you turn so your back is at the bottom of the bolster again. We're going to come into a supported butterfly. So the soles of the feet come together. I like to get my two cushions and fold them in half and just put them underneath the knees, because my knees are quite high off the ground and we want the knees to feel supported. And you can just lay yourself back, you can drape yourself back over the bolster. We're staying for 5 minutes. The bolster can of course be a bit higher. You can put 2 blocks under the head of the bolster. You can even put cushions under your arms, or blanket or towels under your arms, just to make them a little bit more comfy as well. We rarely do that for ourselves. We rarely kind of take the time to make sure we're really, really comfortable. And through all of this, through all of the postures, you can have this kind of gentle awareness of your breath. Not changing it, but just letting it be. When we're relaxed, the breath kind of starts to relax and move more down into the abdomen, the diaphragm.
You can slowly start, maybe just straighten the legs first. And then to maybe just roll onto one side. And push yourself up. For our next pose, we're going to do side lying. So you're just going to have your bolster widthways I should say, across the mat. And we're going to lie so that the bolster is kind of in line with the ribs. And you want to have a little kind of bit of room at the top just to have your arm. I'm going to grab a pillow because I know I need a pillow for this one. I'm going to put a block or pillow, or a couple of pillows if you don't have a block. I'm going to put a block and a pillow because we're going to lie like this. So you've got your ribs over the bolster. So you feel a bit of opening across the side ribs here. More space to breathe. And then your right arm can come through just horizontally. If you like, the left arm can come on top. And what you can do is have your block ready to meet that left arm just wherever it is. If you do want to have that arm overhead, you don't have to. You can just kind of see what feels comfortable. We're just in a very relaxed way, just making some space in the side body. But for some of you, you won't even need to bring that arm overhead at all. Just going to set the timer for 5 minutes here. And once we're in our poses, and you can take as long as you need to kind of wiggle about, add things. You might put a cushion between your knees again. It's not about kind of getting in and being still as quickly as possible. We can take the time just to make it as comfy as possible so that you can just feel like you're just floating on a cloud. Open and supported and seen and held exactly as you are. Side lying is really balancing. So lying on your tummy can be really calming. If you're feeling any kind of anxiety or stress, lying on your back is a little bit more stimulating in relation to lying on your belly. But then lying on your side is just really balancing. A lot of us sleep on our sides. I often, when I first get into bed and I'm trying to just kind of wind down, I'll start on my belly. No matter how busy my day's been or what's on my mind, it always helps me just to really calm down. Never have trouble getting to sleep when I lie on my belly for a bit. Notice what your breath is doing, where you can feel it. Okay, we're going to slowly start to come back up. So using that hand, that arm that was reaching out to start to push yourself back up. And you can simply just turn over and do the other side like this. So you just turn and then come to lay down. I'm going to just arrange it so that you can still see me. So you're just going to be opening the other side now. So I just lay my right side down before, so now I'm going to lay my left side down. This time I might put a cushion between my legs, a cushion under my head. Take as long as you need to set up. And once you're really comfy, just try and stay still. Remember, you're free to do what you want with that top arm. If it feels a bit awkward, you can just have it just resting on the body or resting on the bolster or pillows underneath you. And just enjoying this nothing time. This just chilling in between sleep and wake. And that's the place where healing happens. It's the place where we can rejuvenate. We're aware that we're relaxed. Almost like when we're on the massage table and we're still aware that we're there, but we're just kind of drifting off. Okay, I'm going to start to press down through your free arm and come up with as much slowness as you can. Our next pose, you're going to need a wall for it, so it's going to be legs up the wall pose. So if you're not near a wall, you can do it against a door, just making sure that no one's going to come in and open it while you're doing it. You can also do it against the back of the sofa or whatever you have near that you can put your legs up. I even do this pose on my bed as well. So what we're going to do is just move the mountain of props away. I'm going to do my legs up the wall just here. So I'm just going to put my blanket there, ready, and I might even put a pillow just for my head to make it extra comfy. You don't want anything too big under the neck though. And to come in the pose, you want to sit side on to the wall. I'm just going to shut this. There we go. So you're going to sit side on to the wall and then lay back and bring the legs up. You don't have to be super close to the wall. Okay, there can be a bit of a gap, especially if you're tighter in the hamstrings. There can be a bit of a bend in the knees. We're going to stay for 5 minutes. This pose is known as the Great Rejuvenator. If there's only If you only have time for one restorative pose a day, you should make it this one. Another nice thing you can do is tie your legs together with a strap, just loosely, just below the knees. It just means you don't have to kind of try so hard to keep the legs up. Not that you have to try that hard, but it just gives you that extra little bit of support, which is always good in restorative yoga. It can be nice to literally just feel your belly breaths and have your hands just on top of the belly. Right, so we're going to pretty much come out the same way we came in. So kind of go down to one side as you bend the knees, and then gently push yourself back up to a seat. Our next pose is going to be belly down Shavasana. So you're going to put your bolster in front of you long ways, or your cushions, and a block. I'm going to have a cushion on top of the block, like that. And I'm just going to take my microphone off because I'll probably squish it. So you're just literally going to lay on top of the bolster, and then the block can go under your head, the block and cushion. Arms can do whatever you want really. They can be kind of in a star shape, and your legs can be in a little bit of a star shape too. You can do this without the bolster if it feels awkward. You can just lay on your belly. But try and have a gap under the nose if you are lying on the bolster, so that you can still breathe freely. Enjoying these pauses of silence, medicine for your nervous system, for your body, for your mind, for your soul.
I'm going to slowly get ready to come back up. Not much, just to roll off your bolster. And put your block to the side. You might keep your cushion there if you have one under your head. We're going to come into our final Shavasana, belly up. And you can just put your bolster under your knees, your cushions under your knees, or blocks, whatever you have. I've got just quite a thin cushion under my head, just for a little bit of extra support. Restorative practices, you can literally really do them on any surface. You can put a blanket or a few doonas under you as well to make it even more comfy. And finishing in this pose in belly up Shavasana. It's a little bit more stimulating than belly down. And so it's a good way to finish so that we don't kind of finish feeling too zonked out. I'm still relaxed, but we've just started that journey back to opening up. That's usually the way in massage too. We start it on our belly, and then at the end of the massage we come onto our backs as we're kind of starting to wake up slightly. And if you're really tired and you have the time, you might just allow yourself to fall asleep here. If you've been fighting sleep the whole time, you can finally sink into sleep if you like to. I usually don't sleep too long on the floor. I find that I usually wake up after about 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes. But otherwise, we're just going to stay about 5 minutes, a few minutes more. Funny. My dog Bonnie's come to join me in my Shavasana.
Right, you can start to just lengthen your breath a little bit. Make some little movements through your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Any little movements that feel good. You're also welcome just to stay where you are. If you feel like you're going to fall asleep, then do it. Give yourself that extra rest. And for those that are ready, you can come up, roll to one side first, and help yourself up to a seat. Thank you for joining. Namaste.